Well, hello, and welcome back to the Naked and Truth podcast. It is your host, Sari D, and I am back with a topic that I am so passionate about this week, guys. Honestly, this is one of the reasons why I'm a personal trainer. This is something that I went through very seriously right from childhood, honestly, because I feel like there's so many different ways that you can be this, okay? So, what we're going to talk about is obsession. And I think that this couldn't come at a more perfect time with me starting prep. Now, we're just peeling back right now. No shows are chosen just yet. And if you're not familiar, I am a wellness competitor and I am so excited to step back on stage. 2021, I didn't get the opportunity to. So I am more than excited to get back out there. So shows won't be chosen until end of April, early Mayish, something like that. But I'm going to let you guys know. Otherwise, obsession is something that I'm very passionate about in my personal training business, Authentically Fit. It's something that I'm very passionate about helping others break through because, guys, obsession can take over your life so quickly and so seriously and in so many different fucking ways that it's really important to check yourself on what you are becoming obsessive with. And, for somebody who obviously has an addictive personality, it's it's easy to develop obsession, right? That like correlates with it. But at the same point, too, I don't think that we realize how quickly obsession can sneak into our lives and overtake it. And especially on things like a fitness journey or a health journey, right? And the thing is that I'm going to touch on the fitness aspect for the most part in this podcast, just because it's something, like I said, that I can speak directly to. I've been there in my life, and I feel so confident in the way that I can help others break through it too. So when it comes to weight loss, okay, we're dropping that W word, and I fucking hate that word because weight loss becomes everything about your journey. Okay, so let's kick this back so that we can build a picture for you guys. You guys know I love build ups. So we are being realistic with the fact that we are living in an obese society, and this is coming from all over the world, right? This isn't something that we're just struggling with in Canada. There are many countries that are struggling with obesity, but Canada, the US, we are definitely the leaders of the pack, if I can be completely honest. And, it's become really scary of what the future is looking like because I was an overweight child. And if I can be honest with you, being an overweight child fucks with your head so badly. Like, honestly, if there's like one thing that I can like not do for my child, I will never make them overweight. And, like, don't get me wrong, like, kids make their own decisions at some points. And back when, like, and I'm not blaming my parents for this. So don't think that I'm like, oh, my parents should have done a better job because you need to understand how much society has progressed since my childhood, right? Like nutrition was not like a thing. People were just starting to talk about it, just starting to learn about it. There was like the Atkins diet and there was the Weight Watchers and all this shit that was like points and it was everything that they were looking at good and bad foods, okay? Like everything was not where it is today. There wasn't the same discussions or approaches. We were living off the Canadian food guide for the most part. And so, you know, for me in those years, I really ate a lot of my emotions. And, I wasn't always necessarily with my parents. And when you're with other people let you do different things. And, so there's no blame in that sense. But like, if there's one thing that I can try to save my kid from, it is obesity, because it is a very hard thing to go through emotionally, and the way that people treat you, the way that you perceive yourself, but also the fact that it's so hard to grow out of. Like, that's hard fucking work. Like, we're adults here and we know how hard weight loss is, right? So the fact is that we're dealing with a lot of obese children. It's affecting people's mindsets. And honestly, guys, like on a totally different tangent, I personally believe if we could teach self-love in school, so many things would be different, and so many Yeah, just so many things would be different. I'm just gonna leave it at that, or else I'm gonna get into this huge political rant and go into all my thoughts here, and we don't need to do that on this podcast. Hold it together, Sarah, okay? But we need to start teaching self-love in school because I think that being able to love yourself is gonna allow you to treat people properly. It's going to allow you to have a good relationship with yourself. In turn, you're gonna make good decisions instead of making decisions out of wanting to have people like you or wanting for you to just feel fulfilled from other people's opinions of you, okay? So, the other part is too is that we're dealing with a lot of these obese adults that are feeling like they're looking on Instagram and they're like, man, so many people are living this ideal life. I'm never going to get there. And it allows them to be stuck. But like, this is where I'm going to bring so many things into this podcast because it really is just so fucked up on so many different levels. But as a wellness competitor, this is where I'm getting frustrated with wellness is the fact that I'm seeing now more than ever how much photoshopping is going on. And like half these wellness competitors don't have the quads that they're literally captioning like straight to my quads. This pump, this meal, this whatever the fuck it was went straight to my quads and oh my god, they're ginormous and they're bigger than my head. And it's just like what is even going on here anymore? Like I can't even handle it. Like the other day it was just some random chick that showed up on my explore page. I click on it. I show my husband how it is evidently photoshopped because her towel that was hanging off the end of the bench was like magically morphed onto her leg. And anyways, guys, it's just like heartbreaking of the shit that's out there because it's these people that are captioning this stuff like that they just went and put in hard work. And that's what brought this visual and physique change to them, which is so not fucking true. The second thing is that, the second thing that I saw was like, it's like this chick captioning it, make sure to love yourself. And it's just like, why? Why are we doing this? Like, look at how fucked up this self love is, guys. And that's why I'm like, it doesn't matter about the physique side of things when your mind is so messed up, right? Like, that's the thing is like, whew, we're just getting to points where like this is so fake. This is so like we're like, oh, the confusion. And then you wonder why people are getting obsessed and like, we put numbers, targets on everything. Like one thing that I think is super fucking stupid, and I'm sorry if you're a coach and I'm friends with you and you do this, 10,000 steps. 10,000 steps a day. That is not a daily requirement for anybody, man. Should you walk if you want to fucking save years on your life? And like I'm sorry I'm swearing so much and if you don't like swearing, like I'm really sorry. This is probably never going to be the podcast for you because I used to hold myself back, but if you know me in real life, I'm very passionate and when you're passionate, you got flow. And honestly, guys, I drop F bombs, but there's two things that I don't ever say for swears. I don't like to say hell. That's just one thing that doesn't work with me. And I don't ever use like Jesus Christ in vain. So I call it a JC bomb. And that is something that just doesn't flow out of my mouth personally. But I like to use the word fuck and fucking because it has a lot of emphasis to it. And I'm passionate and it allows me to just like go into it and be passionate about it. So I'm just like, sorry if that doesn't sit with you, but I'm always going to be me. That's my promise. That's what makes me authentically fit. That's what makes me naked in truth. This is Sarah, okay? So, I got myself into such a little tangent there that you guys know that I totally lost where I was, but that's okay. So, just long story short on bringing it back is that it's really easy for people, oh, the step thing, right? Like to be taking these steps, taking a step too much English here, but taking these actions in their fitness journeys where they feel like they need to do 10,000 steps because Tom, Dick, or Harry is doing them on Instagram, or they feel like they need to go and run an hour on the treadmill because they're still at a point where they're binging on the weekends and they think that that hour on the treadmill is what's going to help them overcome that binge. There's so many things that we're doing that's in the wrong way and we're in these quiet closet obsessions where nobody knows what we're actually doing. Like, that's why I'm like when we're becoming so obsessed with the scale and we're making our entire journey about weight loss and the number on the scale, like we totally lose the journey itself and what we're actually trying to change to make those changes. And then that's when it doesn't work. And that's when we get frustrated. And that's when we start jumping on all of these different obsessions. And that's when we start to lose ourselves, or we stop the journey that we're on simply because of the fact that we took this road that we thought was the best approach. But sometimes we even know what we're doing is wrong, but we just get addicted to the obsession in and of itself, and we just can't stop. Like you look at things like eating disorders, it's really easy to fall into that obsession and just keep feeling like you're in control that way, because that's the other part, is you become obsessed with these things that allow you to feel like you're in control of your life in ways that you're actually not. And like, honestly, I feel like it's my mission, guys, to like teach us how to do things the right way. Like, I genuinely feel like, because I used to be such a vain person, I used to go about everything like so obsessively. I've done so many different things, tried so many terrible approaches, and lied to myself about it along the way, that it's really easy for me to be true and show up to myself, show up as my real self for you guys. Like, I have no makeup on right now. If you're watching me on YouTube, if you are following me on Instagram, I'm on this filter-free mission. So none of my shit is filtered, none of my stories, none of my pictures on my page. Yeah, like, it's just like, so the other thing is, though, is that I just like hope that we can appreciate all parts of the journey, and really understanding that um there's like, not everything is a physical accomplishment either. And like, it's the stuff that we work on mentally, that we overcome, that allows us to be able to make these scale changes, these physique changes, drop these inches, get this tight toned tummy, or whatever the fuck it is that you're working towards. It's not because like you became obsessed with something. It's because you really broke through those barriers that have always been holding you back and making you make the wrong decisions along the way, right? And so, even though you know I'm not the leanest person, and I probably will never be the leanest person. Why? Because I have a healthy relationship with food, which therefore means like I'm never going to be a super obsessed lean person, staying lean all year round, because this is the other thing that pisses me off about bodybuilding, okay? And like, I've talked to this about my coach. I've talked to my coach about this on Team Flex, Ryan. He's going to be on the podcast in the future, so get excited for an episode, because we are going to be ranting on this motherfucker, and it's going to be so good, guys. But I've brought it up to him that it's like, if we want to see things change in the bodybuilding industry, then we got to start living to it, okay? So like, one of the things that we see is that, okay, so we get told as bodybuilders, and just at the amateur level, to make sure that you're never stage lean all year round, because not only does that fuck with your body, but it's just like impossible to do, and blah 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 blah. All these reasons are fed into us as to why we shouldn't do it, and it is a very very good thing to not do. I firmly believe that there's an improvement season for a reason, and that you shouldn't be stage lean all year round. But what ends up happening? All these pros are stage lean all year round. And if they're not stage lean, they are very fucking close. Like, it is such a small difference, okay? Granted, are they competing a lot more? Yes, absolutely. But we got to be reasonable on these people who are the amateurs that are coming up and feeling like they need to like hurt themselves so badly trying to get to that next level, because of the fact that they're seeing all these pros stay stage lean all year round. And like, it's just not like, Instagram is killing us, guys. It really is killing us. And then what's even more fudged up is the fact that they changed the algorithm so that everybody is getting less likes. And in my personal opinion, call this statement whatever you want to call it, I don't really care. But the truth is I find it very funny that we end up having our mental health hurt so bad over the past couple of years, okay? We end up tearing our community apart. A lot of us have such bad anxiety that we can't function around other people anymore, okay? We got so addicted to Instagram. Like, man, so many people blew up on TikTok, Instagram, over the um like COVID period, right? Yeah, that really did happen. So what happened? Well, we all got validated from all these likes and blowing up. And it was just like, yes, we're being appreciated. And it really is feeding into that like narcissistic side that we all genuinely have deep down inside of us, right? A long story short, it's very interesting that the algorithm now changed. People aren't seeing your stuff and you're not getting as much engagement, which makes you think that people don't like you as much, which makes you think that you're not good at what you do. Fill in the rest of the blank of whatever you feel like your biggest insecurity is that you find on Instagram. And that's what this change is going to do for you. Okay. So I just like want us to be realistic about this kind of stuff. I want us to be Oh, it's just like it's such a big topic that it's just like I'm sure you guys are like, "Holy moly." Like she doesn't even know what direction she wants to go in, and it's because it is so full in and of itself, and we have become so obsessed with the way that we look. We become so obsessed with the way people view us. We become so obsessed with the clothes that we wear, all the materialistic things. Like I said, we're so obsessed with pretty. That was like one big statement that I said on the last podcast is like I want us to stop being so obsessed with this pretty shit. And this like leads into that even more of just like we become obsessed with it. It's like even when we know that it's not real, we still want to be it. It's so messed up. You know what I mean? Or like when you hear somebody be like, "Man, she is so pretty." And it's like, "Yeah, absolutely she is when she has like makeup artist level makeup going on. She's got hair extensions in, she's got her lashes done, she's got Botox, she's got tits, she's got, you know what I mean? Like Brazilian butt lift, whatever it is. Like it's like our bodies are becoming so fake. And like, don't get me wrong, this is not me shitting on you changing your body or whatever, but like, we got to understand what's real and what's not, and that anything can look good when it's man made. You know what I mean? And like, because that's when we're able to control it so much that we can make it into whatever we think is the prettiest. But it's all these dumb standards that we've created, these unrealistic standards that we've created that have made us feel like our authentic bodies that God gave us, however you think you were born, or the universe, like I don't know, however that works for you, if you don't believe in a God, is just that we don't appreciate how our bodies were built, what they look like. And I think that it's really sad because at the end of the day, it's not about what we look like as to what we bring to the table. Okay. So I personally believe that you will always be able to see an ugly spirit and an ugly intention through a pretty face. Like it will always overcome if you're, I guess, looking with the right eyes, because when you're falling into that obsession and you're um just yeah, you're not in tune with what you're bringing to the table, and you're really always just in that lacking mode. Everything's not enough, you're not enough, you need more, 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 more. You're never taking time to stop and appreciate, and you're just like in this vicious fucking cycle, and now you're addicted to breaking yourself down. It's a terrible place to be, and you don't have to be there, and it's really cool living in reality. And I think the only problem with living in reality these days is just how draining it is becoming. And I'm just going to be honest there. Like this podcast shouldn't even, like, we shouldn't even be having this discussion. You know what I mean? The fact that I have to promise that I will always show up as myself to you guys, like that's fucked up, you know? Like I just don't want this anymore, okay? So I really want us to keep moving forward. What's funny is that I've been seeing, and I don't ever get to know who's actually like listening or watching, but I've been seeing some filter free. So even if you don't reach out or message me, but you're listening to this and you're applying it in your life, thank you. I appreciate you. But don't be afraid to talk to me either, okay? Like honestly, guys, I'm so tired of like this fake community shit. Okay. Like, I want a real community, genuinely caring about each other. And like I told my girlfriend the other day, I'm like, I'm not going to fuck in your corner if I'm not there to root you on 100%. So if I'm in your corner, you know that you have somebody 100% there for you. Um, and yeah, it's a good place to be when you're comfortable with yourself, confident with yourself, that you can be there and show up as yourself, and be there for other people, and not feel like you need to get so obsessed with what you know is wrong, or getting so obsessed with hurting yourself. Because, like I've mentioned in many other podcasts before, we get obsessed with this self inflicted pain. It's just these weird things that we do as a human. But the more that we can slow ourselves down, check ourselves, what are you falling into obsession or addiction with, And a lot of the time it's just thinking patterns. And so that's where we don't like it's like cleaning up your mental library, right? What are you feeding yourself? Um, when it comes to what's going on in your head. So I'm going to close this one down, or else I'm going to just tangent on for life for you guys. You guys know this is going to be brought up again in the future. I hope to see some change between now and whenever that future one is. Something that's exciting is that my crazy ass is going to be vlogging my YouTube journey for prep again. So if you enjoyed that last time, if that's how we ended up connecting, make sure to stay tuned to the Authentically Fit YouTube channel, because that is going to be coming along, and we're going to be keeping it real like we always do. And it's just going to be super, super fun. So I just can't thank you guys enough for joining me on this journey. And, it's been so much growth, and 2021 was such a weird year. It was a hard year. It was a lot of personal things that went on. It was, so many things, all the emotions, but I didn't let it break me, and I chose to keep growing through it. And, that's just what I want us to do as people, is know that there's seasons where things are going to be tough. There's seasons where we fuck up. There's seasons where you need to take the lesson, instead of just like staying in the slums where the loss is, right? And that's the biggest thing, is just be hungry, be hungry for change, be humble that you still make mistakes. And like myself, I will be making mistakes till my last day, I tell you, because I'm human. Okay. So no matter how much growth I put in, um, I'll always be human. So you just stop making the same mistakes, and mistakes become farther and fewer between. And a lot of the time they become a lot smaller. And that's what matters the most, is that you're leading your life the best way that you can, and not being too hard on yourself when you are having a tough season. So let's close this off. I love you guys. You know that I will catch you next time. And it might not always be on a Monday. I'm testing out different times here. So if this drops on a different time than a Monday, don't be weirded out.